As if for a moment your entire world, the life you knew, the people you loved, shattered in an instant. Imagine the terror, the utter bewilderment of being reduced to property, stripped of your name, your culture, your very humanity. This is not a hypothetical, this was the agonizing reality for millions. Today we tell the saga of one soul, among them a single life story that speaks volumes about the horrors of slavery. Who was this person, and what did he endure? We begin in a land of rich traditions, a place where the rhythm of life was tied to the land and the community. Our story centers on a young man named Amari, which means strength in the local language. He was born into a tribe. Amari grew up with the sun on his face and the wisdom of his elders filling his days. He was a son, a brother, a promising young artisan learning the craft of his ancestors. He knew the names of the plants, the songs of the birds, the stories passed down from generation to generation. He lived a life of purpose, of belonging, with a future as clear as the African sky. His family, his community were his entire world. He had aspirations, dreams, and a love for the life he knew. This vibrant existence was all he knew, the only life he had ever had. But a storm was gathering on the horizon, one that would destroy everything he held dear. The tranquility of Amari's life was shattered by the arrival of slave traders. His village was raided in the dead of night. The sounds of screams replaced the laughter of children. The crack of whips drowned out the drums of celebration. Amari, along with many others, was brutally captured, his family torn apart, and his future stolen. He was forced to march for weeks, days, becoming a blur of pain and exhaustion to the coast. He was dehumanized, stripped of his identity, given a new number, a price tag. He witnessed unimaginable horrors along the way. His body ached, but his heart, his spirit, ached far more. He had been forced onto a ship, a floating tomb, where hundreds were packed like cargo into the ship. Bowels, the stench, the sickness, the constant fear, these were his companions for weeks on end as he traveled the unforgiving ocean. The only thing that kept him going was the hope, however faint, that someday, somehow, he might be free. Amari arrived in a new world, the land of his slavery. He was sold at auction, treated as nothing more than property. His name was stripped from him, replaced by a label imposed by his new owner. His days were now consumed by relentless labor under the scorching sun. From sunrise to sunset, he toiled in the fields alongside countless others, his body pushed to its limits. He witnessed and experienced unspeakable cruelty at the hands of overseers who seemed to revel in the power they held over him. Sleep was a rare commodity. His meals were scraps, and even basic human dignity was denied him. Each day was a struggle for survival, a struggle to hold on to the last embers of his humanity. Despite constant degradation and abuse, his dreams of his homeland became faded memories. The language of his ancestors, once so vibrant, was replaced by the broken English of his captors. He was forced to learn new ways, but his soul never forgot its origins. But amidst the darkness, Amari discovered a glimmer of light. He learned that hope, like a fragile seed, could still take root in the most barren soil. He saw resilience in the faces of his fellow captives, individuals who refused to let their spirits be completely broken. He realized that through songs, secret meetings, and small acts of rebellion, they built a sense of community and resilience, of hope for the future. Amari, with his keen mind and spirit that could not be extinguished, secretly learned to read. He heard stories of those who escaped to freedom, and these tales fueled the fire of hope within him. He began to teach others, using his knowledge as a weapon against ignorance, a spark that could ignite change. He began to plan and dream, to wait for the day when he could be free and show the world that slavery could not destroy his spirit. His dreams were not always safe, but he carried them and nurtured them in his heart. Amari's story, like that of millions of enslaved people, is not just a story of suffering. It is a testament to the indomitable strength of the human spirit. His life, though marked by unimaginable hardship, has become a legacy of strength, a reminder of the struggle for justice and equality. He left his mark on the world not with a single act of heroism, but with his perseverance and his continued hope. While we may not know the precise details of Amari's future, his story serves as a powerful lesson. It is a lesson in the barbarity of human cruelty, but also in the strength of the human heart. It is a story that reminds us that even in the face of unimaginable horrors, the spirit can endure. It reminds us that slavery continues to this day, that the struggle for equality is not over, that we must learn from the past to build a better future. Amari's saga is just one story, and it represents the lives of millions of others. It is a story that is hard to hear and acknowledge, but it is our responsibility to know this history, to learn from it, and to ensure that such atrocities are never repeated. Let us honor their memories by not ignoring the pain of the past, but by actively working to dismantle systems of oppression, discrimination, and injustice. Learn more, share this story, fight for justice, be the change this world so desperately needs. The past should not define our future, but it is only through understanding the past that we are able to create a future that is truly just.